Good evening, folks, and welcome to the Sci-Fi Corner. I'm your host, Sean Patrick Erschen, and this week we are going to give our thoughts, our little review on Avengers Infinity War. This is the third Avengers film, and the culmination of 19 films, 10 years worth of movies in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And I just gotta say, folks, I am a huge comic book fan, and I'm a big fan of comic book movies, and to me nobody does it better than Marvel and the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I love just about every movie, some more than others, of course. There are a couple that are just okay, and there are several that are absolutely brilliant, and the first Avengers being one of them. Now, the second Avengers movie was kind of maligned by some of the fans. It was definitely fun. It was very well done, and the camaraderie between the Avengers characters, Captain America, Iron Man, Thor, was great. And of course, you had the introduction of Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. That was really cool. Elizabeth Olsen is just fantastic as a Scarlet Witch. And of course, you had Black Widow, played by the great Scarlett Johansson. You had Hawkeye, played by the great Jeremy Renner. And you had Ultron, played by James Spader. And when we saw the ads, everyone was blown away. Wow, this movie is going to be absolutely awesome. But the problem with the film is the villain didn't quite live up to the trailers, you know. It was very quippy, very too much with the jokes and the one-liners, and overall I felt the movie had a little bit too much humor, even with the Avengers characters. But then you have this movie, the Avengers Infinity War, and this just changes the whole game. And we got some of that in the Civil War. Captain America Civil War was also an excellent film, and that was the third Captain America film, but it was also basically an Avengers movie because you had the Avengers going at it head to head. You had a disconnect between Steve Rogers and Tony Stark as Iron Man, and they clashed. And then you had some Avengers believed in Tony Stark's vision and idea, and then others believed in Captain America's ideals and moral values. And they all clashed. And that's how Avengers Infinity War starts off. It starts off just how Civil War left off. You know, Captain America and Iron Man are still divided. But here comes this new threat now. And we've seen this threat coming for a long time over the course of the Marvel Cinematic movies, such as Guardians of the Galaxies. We actually saw Thanos in that, and we saw him in the post-credit scenes in the first Avengers film, as well as Age of Ultron. But here he comes absolutely to the forefront, front and center. He is the main villain of the entire Marvel universe, you know, and it all comes to a head here. And once you see him on screen for the first time in full mode, it is absolutely terrifying. Right away, in the first 5 minutes of film, you get a feeling of dread and helplessness and hopelessness, because you realize just how powerful this man is, and how devastating he is. And how he is absolutely hell-bent on retrieving all the Infinity Stones that we've seen scattered throughout the Marvel films. We know that Loki has one, and we know that Vision has one, and we know that Doctor Strange has one. So that's his purpose, is gathering up all the Infinity Stones together and putting them on this glove called the Infinity Gauntlet, which harnesses all the power of all the stones, the Mind Stone, the Soul Stone, the Tesseract, you know. And then he, with all that power, he could simply destroy half the universe at the snap of his finger. And man, even before he gets all in, he's incredibly powerful. You see him at the beginning takes on the Hulk, the Incredible Hulk, the most powerful monster in the universe, or so we thought. But when he goes up against Thanos, you find out something a little different. And then you really feel exactly how powerful Thanos is. Once you see that, and I'm gonna try not to give away spoilers in this review, but I just gotta say it is absolutely amazing what the Russo brothers pulled off with this film. How they took all these characters from the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe over the course of all these movies together in one film, and how they each got their moment to shine. So many of the characters, especially the Guardians of the Galaxy, each one of those characters really got their moments to shine, and I think probably they might be the most featured of any of the Marvel characters. Maybe even Tony Stark as Iron Man and Steve Rogers as Captain America. I think the Guardians probably get even more screen time. Probably because they're the ones that are out in space, you know, and the others are really more grounded. Like Captain America's not in space; he's a human being, you know. He doesn't have all these cosmic powers. He doesn't have, you know. You don't often see Captain America in space. So it makes sense. It does make sense for the Guardians of the Galaxy to be heavily involved, especially since Gamora is Thanos' daughter, as well as Nebula is Thanos' daughter. So yeah, that plays heavily into the film. Their relationship with Thanos, especially Gamora. Because even though she hates Thanos, there is some love there, and she knows that this is the man that did raise her and took her from a poverty-stricken environment and did take care of her and raised her, you know. And she became a very powerful being herself because of Thanos' influence, and it becomes some really emotional moments between the two, even though she knows that his goal is to destroy half the universe by gathering up all the Infinity Stones. And but there's still that father-daughter relationship there. Even though she hates him and she hates what he's trying to accomplish, there is still love there, and you can see it in Thanos too. There's a lot of emotion there. He does love her and care for her, but he is willing to make the sacrifice for the greater good, because all he wants to do is get those Infinity Stones no matter what, because he believes what he's doing is right. And that's what another thing that is so scary about Thanos is he believes his mission is the correct one and that what he is doing is right, even if at the expense of half the universe, you know. And that's what makes him so scary. And it's not just Josh Brolin's portrayal; it's his mission, and that the fact that he believes what he's doing is right. So yeah, I can't say enough about Josh Brolin's portrayal, that motion capture performance, and the voice acting performance, and also the CGI. It was fantastic. And he really captured his emotion, not like Ultron in the Age of Ultron, where it just wasn't a compelling villain, you know. But this is a big difference. This is the opposite of Ultron. This guy is damn compelling. And I think he's the greatest villain in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and maybe one of the greatest in movie history. That's how far I would say, because you just get that feeling of absolute dread that comes over the air, and you feel it, and you know something bad's going to happen when he's around, you know. And the stakes are very high in this film. I know Marvel's known for not having high stakes in their films, and that they're kind of light, but this is grim. This is a really dark film. Yes, there are great moments of humor, especially, you know, when you see the Guardians of the Galaxy, rapping with Iron Man and Spider-Man. And that's another thing I have to say. I love Spider-Man in the film. I love his suit looked really cool, and I loved seeing the Iron Spider at work. You see, just like he was in the Civil War comic book. So you see the Iron Spider, what that suit can do, and it's really cool. I love it. And I love Tom Holland's performance, and he has some real emotional moments too that I won't get into details, but he has a real heart-wrenching moment in the film, and you're going to be like, oh my god, you know. So there's so much emotion in this film, laughter, horror, fear, darkness, and a lot of fun, and a lot of great action, a lot of great fight scenes. We're introduced to, once again, to Wakanda, and the world of Wakanda, and the Black Panther, of course, and all his minions, and that's really cool too. You see what he's doing, and he has the Winter Soldiers still there from the end of Civil War, so it continues from there. You see Winter Soldier's alright, he's got a new arm now, and that's cool. And so Captain America meets up with the Black Panther, and the War Machine, played by Don Cheadle again, and of course Mark Ruffalo's Hulk, and they all get together, and so they're trying to stop Thanos by getting all the team together. The only thing is Iron Man and Captain America haven't spoken since Civil War, so there is some hesitation there. So those two sides haven't truly come together fully, and you realize that's kind of a problem too, you know. But at any rate, I absolutely loved I loved Avengers Infinity War. I think it's the best Marvel Cinematic Universe film yet. I think it is absolutely brilliant. It's awesome. It's epic in every way, and it hits on all notes. It fires on all cylinders of everything it is attempting to accomplish. It nails it. The Russo brothers, I don't know what it is, but they just have the ability to take on something of this magnitude and make it so compelling, so interesting, and it's never like a clusterfuck, you know. It's never too convoluted or complex. It's just perfect, you know. It's perfect. It's like when you pick up a comic book that's a crossover, like a lot of times they have these big crossovers like the Infinity War, like Civil War, like the Maximum Carnage and the Spider-Man comics, or something like the Secret War, you know, things like that. And this is exactly like that. When you pick them up and you're completely lost in those comics and you're blown away by the events, and this is exactly like that. And it's so perfectly handled and executed by the Russo brothers, and I just give 2 thumbs up to them. And I can't say enough about this film. It is absolutely awesome in every way, and it's everything I wanted it to be. And I cannot wait to see the next one, because the events of the end of this film will leave you breathless and scratching, chomping at the bit for more to see what they do next. What they're gonna do next, I have no idea, but whatever it is, it's gonna be awesome, and I can't wait. So we're going to get Avengers 4 in 1 year from now, and even that's too long, you know. Even that seems like a long time to waste, because I'm frothing at the mouth in its anticipation. But thank you guys for joining me in the science fiction corner. Tune in and blast off.